Lots of discussion about Trent Alexander-Arnold ahead of this weekend's game with Manchester United. Carlo Ancelotti refusing to be drawn on Real Madrid's pursuit of the Liverpool defender, telling the press, wait and see if there's any further developments. We had a bit of a discussion about this yesterday, but as far as we understand it, no movement, no expected movement for Trent Alexander-Arnold.
No, we'd expect Trent to start at the weekend, and as we talked about, I think the match-going Liverpool fans will throw their weight of support behind him and maybe try and show him how much he's loved and how much he wants to stay. I still think Real Madrid, by even that comment from Carlo Ancelotti, wait and see, is fanning the flames, and Liverpool are now determined that all these contract negotiations will be handled behind closed doors, away from the media. Trent has said that it won't be played out in public either. I think Real Madrid have been a little bit naughty with that approach, because it wasn't an offer. They never got as far as discussing a fee, as I understand it. They simply asked the question, will you let him go this month? Liverpool said no, move on.
What would you do if you were Trent Alexander-Arnold? Because his contract runs out at the end of the season. He can sign a pre-contract agreement with anybody in European football now. Would you be thinking about your long-term future at Anfield and looking at what's going on, thinking, yeah, do you know what, we can probably be all conquering here, I want to be a part of that? Or would you be thinking, pasture's new time, I can get huge money if I go to Real Madrid and maybe experience something that, you know, new, different, that I wouldn't get here?
I just did a big piece on it for tomorrow in the Sun, so without repeating myself too much, I think it's a case of, you're right. Yeah,
I think quietly in the corner.
I think it's a case of, I think he's handled it perfectly. I don't think there's been too much noise or fuss coming from Trent and his camp.
He hasn't said anything, has he?
That's what I mean. It's been perfect. I think at 26 years of age, you can potentially leave this season. Let's say a bad season could be 2 trophies, could win the Carabao Cup in the league. It's a great season. You're going out. He's done everything as a young man from that area. He's done everything. He's won the Champions League. Now going to potentially win the league for a second time. He's just in a wonderful position. And I think when the biggest club in world football comes knocking at your door, you have to have a serious conversation about that. I thought, and I'm interested in what Crookie thinks. I thought the reason that Real Madrid potentially said why, like, can you let him go now, is because maybe they're scared of what Saudi can offer him. And
also because, mainly I think because Dani Carvajal is injured, and as a result of that, they're in a situation where they need defensive
Yeah, but I think just from
cover.
I think the general consensus is that he's going to go Real Madrid, right? That's what everyone kind of thinks.
It's a straight choice, isn't it? It's stay at Liverpool or it's go to the
He's not going to go to Saudi, is he?
So for them to do it now, I just think, are they concerned that there's a huge Saudi offer there that may turn his head as to why they want to do it right now? Just another train of thought.
Do you think so?
Would you another train of
at 26? Would you go and do that? That offer's going to be there for you in 3 years' time if he doesn't work out in Real Madrid. Surely,
cynically, does it also make it a little bit easier for him to leave on a free at the end of the season, because he could turn around and say, well, actually, you know, Real Madrid made a bid for me in January, Liverpool turned it down, so now I'm going to go on a free.
Yeah, cynically, yeah. I just think when you look at it at all at its finest, it is a straight choice. But if you looked at it just purely from a player's point of view, he's probably lived in a fishbowl of, you're from the area, there's a fan expectation. You know, I would say there's more fan interest from Liverpool fans around Trent than there is Salah, Van Dijk and Alisson, because he's one of their own. They feel like he should be, you know, he should stay there a little bit longer. Where it's actually unfair. He's done everything. He's won the code.
But I think also there's a sort of tacit acceptance that if he leaves, then they're not as worried about him leaving as they are the other two. I think they feel that Conor
That's
Bradley...
That's a bit naive, by the way. I mean, Conor Bradley's a good player, but
he's
not Trent Alexander-Arnold.
There's certainly that feeling. There is certainly that feeling amongst the Liverpool supporters. They feel as if... And maybe that comes out because they think, well, he is going to leave, so, you know, we need to sort of almost prepare ourselves for that departure. And, you know, Conor Bradley is a very good player. But you're absolutely right. Replicating what he can do is almost impossible.
But I also think in the current market, I just think it's easier to find an attack-minded fullback than it is to find a winger that can score you, I don't know, 30 goals this season. Salah might end up with 20-odd assists. It's very hard to find that, as opposed to then trying to find a centre-half that is Van Dijk. Do you know what I mean? I think when you look at Trent, it's probably the easier one to replace of the four that could potentially leave.
You know the player that will be looking at this and you know, thinking what might have been, is Reece James. Because there was a time when he would have been Real Madrid's top target to come in as a Premier League right back, and I think he had arguably his best performance in a Chelsea shirt at the Bernabeu. You'll remember that. I was there for talkSPORT, but obviously injuries have absolutely ravaged his chances.
Such a shame.
I think he would have been ahead of Trent in Real's eyes.
He can also play those two positions brilliantly, can't he? He can play as a right back and he can play in central midfield, as he's displayed on several occasions. Manchester United's Marcus Rashford has reportedly rejected 3 offers from Saudi Pro League clubs. That's not exactly true. He's just made it clear that he's not going to go to Saudi, and he did that in the summer. Yeah. And Michael Emenalo has been trying to come up with a deal. It's not clubs that actually make the approach, it's the league that make the approach. The clubs actually haven't got the slots at the moment for another foreign player, so they've had to have adjusted a few things around to get him in, but he's not up for it anyway. There's this talk about Napoli, though, isn't there? And there is more legs in that one, do we think? Yeah, there's certainly substance to that. Antonio Conte is someone who has tracked Rashford in the past, but I think financially it's difficult because the whole reason they loaned out Victor Osimhen was because they were paying him more money than they could afford. So I think United would have to pick up the slack in terms of wages. Yeah, there was a big falling out with Osimhen, so he didn't want to play there anymore.
But wages were a problem as well. So I think unless Osimhen is part of the deal, and that's a possibility because United have shown an interest in him in the past, then I think for Rashford to make a move like that, United would have to do what Chelsea are doing, Raheem Sterling, and top up the wages.
Do you think that Osimhen deal is a good deal for United?
I'm torn. Listen, he's obviously got talent. We watched him, didn't we, against Tottenham in the Europa League, absolutely terrorised them. But he does come with baggage. Yeah. And I just wonder if that's the type of character that Ruben Amorim needs in the dressing room. If you're getting rid of one supposed bad apple in Rashford, do you really want to bring someone else in who
don't they need a
cause you
senior
issues?
Leader, though? Don't they need someone with a bit of experience and a bit of nous about them?
Yeah, but I think bigger than that, they need someone or players with a certain type of engine and legs and abilities to run. So you probably say that's a younger market that they're looking in. I think when
they have younger centre forwards, don't they? They have two young centre forwards. They need someone. I said to Crook earlier, they need an Ibrahimovic character to come in and just lead those younger players to the right path.
Yeah, they're few and far between.
They are few and far between. But I also think that as well, it's like I say, I keep seeing these similarities. I know we've got to have Phil on it shortly, the agent, and I always think January is an older market anyway. If you look, people go and get tried and tested, don't they? Get that. We need to fix that now. Get that short-term fix. And I just think with how they are, it's like Arsenal. He's building the culture. Okay. He's got to want younger people that he can mould.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.